What is up, everybody? Back in with another video, and this is a little different type of video. I can't believe I'm even doing this, but thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers, man. I'm finally here, man. Thank you to all the new people that have showed up on my page. You guys really make my day. It really helps me out, and it just kind of inspires me to keep moving forward, especially with all the positive feedback and everything like that. And for the fact that I have actually got 3,000 subscribers, I'm gonna do something a little different and fresh, something that a lot of people probably already wanted, because everybody knows I was originally a Hulk page, and my page is still kind of Hulkish, even though I do a lot of other stuff on my page. But I thought it would be cool to do a Hulk versus Doomsday debunk video. I don't really do a lot of debunk videos. That's not really my thing I feel like doing. Okay, before I even get started on the debunk video, I want to say I'm not here to persuade you. If I've learned anything in the community, I've learned that people are going to have their views no matter what. Even if you have logic and you have feats to back it up, people are just going to be hard-headed and just like who they want to like so much to the point where it doesn't matter what you say, and they're going to call you a fanboy or a tard if you don't agree with what they're saying. With that being said, just because I'm debunking a death battle video does not necessarily mean I hate death battle. Doesn't necessarily mean I despise them or anything. It doesn't necessarily mean that I want you to think that the Hulk wins the death battle. It's not even about that. It's just some of the stuff they said that can give you the wrong impression on how strong these characters are. And plus, this death battle did not age well. Like, literally, as soon as this death battle, like a couple years, like I think it was like a year or something after the death battle came out, the Immortal Hulk series came out. It pretty much proved that the Hulk can't really, die, because he can kind of resurrect himself. But I'm going to get into all that in a little bit. But further ado, like I said, I'm not trying to convince you that the Hulk should have won. If you believe Hulk should have won, that's cool. If you believe Doomsday should have won, that's cool, because Doomsday is one of those characters where I'm not really that interested in. I mean, he's cool because he's powerful, but like Hulk, let's just be honest, we all can agree that Hulk is better written. Like, we can all agree with that, right? I mean, but people like Doomsday mainly because he killed the Man of Steel. Let's dissect what they actually said in this death battle. Like I said, once again, thank you for 3,000 subscribers. Could have done this without you. So yeah, let's get it.
Hulk may have had the advantage in raw strength, at least at his full potential, but Doomsday could certainly hold his ground. His victories against the likes of Superman and Darkseid prove he can take a hit from someone strong enough to break planets.
Since Doomsday had the speed advantage, he regularly fights foes with light speed capabilities, while that kind of speed is an extreme rarity in the Marvel Universe.
Let me stop you right there, death battle. Okay. Ever since this death battle, people have been underestimating the speed and combat speed of Marvel characters. I'm not saying he's necessarily as fast as Flash or Superman or something, but they said light speed capabilities is a rarity in the Marvel Universe. Is it, though, when it comes to combat speed and reaction time, considering that there are characters literally in the Street Enhanced Captain America tier that have microsecond level reaction time feats, like Black Panther. And he's generally considered lower tier when it comes to characters like Sentry, Hulk, Thor, and etc., right? And characters are this fast at combat for him. He literally can dodge stuff in microseconds, and this is the lower end characters of Marvel, man. Saying the Hulk has never fought light speed beings is actually a joke, considering that he literally beat the snot out of beings like Gladiator, who can literally throw punches in a nanosecond or have entire battles in nanoseconds. Keep in mind, lower tier characters like Black Panther can react in microseconds, and he's a lower tier, and that's 1/1,000,000th of a second. A nanosecond is 1/1,000,000th of a second. Hulk has had no problems tagging characters like this, tagging characters like Hyperion, and I swear to God, if you say, oh, they weren't using their super speed in fight like they did here, why the heck would they not use their super speed against our top tier like Hulk? That looks stupid. So you're saying all your favorite powerhouse characters in Marvel are just idiots? I'm going to fight one of the strongest beings on Earth, and I'm not going to use my super speed, even though I clearly can, to dodge his attacks. Nah, bro, they're just fast. Hulk has had no problems reacting and tagging characters like Hyperion on more than one occasion in Marvel. There's literally too many cases of him being able to tag Hyperion in combat. He's not just being a retard and saying, oh, I'm just going to let Hulk hit me. Yeah, he has super speed, but the Hulk's faster than you probably think. Oh, but travel speed and combat speed are completely different. Well, really though? How about the fact that Silver Surfer has absurd travel speed? I'm not even going to get on his travel speed. But how about the fact that Silver Surfer was using his travel speed in combat against the Hulk? AKA, he was actually trying to avoid the Hulk using super speed. In the comic, it was even stated on panel. Silver Surfer was even confident and was like, oh, you're not going to be able to hit me, Hulk. Oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to hit me. I'm moving too fast for you. Guess what happened next? The Hulk basically just proved him wrong and was just able to hit him anyway, even though he was actually on guard and actually trying to block or dodge. This is actually consistent, too, when it comes to Hulk fighting top-tier beings. He never really has trouble fighting top-tier beings. I mean, after all, the Hulk and Thor are rivals, and, Thor, he fights Thor all the time, and Silver Surfer and Thor always go at it all the time when it comes to combat, even while traveling at high velocities. I guess Silver Surfer in all these occasions is not trying to use his super speed in combat either, though, right? So I guess Silver Surfer is just an idiot and is letting himself get hit, even though he can move faster than him, right? He's just an idiot, huh? I don't know about you, but I'm not buying that BS. I think the Hulk is just fast enough to do it. I mean, he's a powerhouse and he's meant to be in that league with these people. But did it state on panel that those characters that the Hulk were fighting that are so-called super fast were actually using their super speed? Buddy. They don't have to state on panel every single time a character uses their super speed in combat. It's like watching a battle of two powerhouses, right? Okay, he's using his super strength in the fight. Okay, one punch over here. He's using his super strength on this punch. They're not going to spoon feed us in the combat. They're going to let us see it for ourselves and let us perceive it how we like. Not every single image is going to look like this. As you can see here, he's not going to always be looking like this on every comic panel. Every artist doesn't feel like doing this. Even though the Hulk has shown on occasions where he has blitzed before, on multiple occasions with blitz style combat. But let's be honest, there are going to be times where he just throws an ordinary looking punch and it's going to look like a normal slow punch on panel, but it doesn't mean it's an actual slow punch, you know. Yes, I know every occasion of powerhouse killers like Gladiator, Hyperion aren't going to be using their super speed to max every single time, right? Like if Gladiator is fighting against somebody that's lower tier, of course he's not going to, you know, actually use a super speed against them, especially if he's holding back and not trying to kill them. So that makes sense. But for somebody like the Hulk, for you to assume that they're not using their super speed against somebody like the Hulk, when the Hulk actually has speed feats on top of this, reaction time feats, it's kind of just hard-headed and boneheaded. Also, in the Waterworld Hulk arc, he actually slug-paced with a character like Sentry. Sentry has comic panels of him looking like he got some blitz-style combat, being able to throw bursts of fists like a very short succession. But like I said, they don't have to baby us. Just because we don't see their fists being multiple after images in every panel they're in doesn't mean they're not moving at super speed. Like for this instance example, Sentry and Thor are fighting. You don't see like multiple fists on screen, right? The artist didn't draw multiple fists on panel to make it like he's blitzing or nothing like that, right? But at the same time, that doesn't mean he's going slow either. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? Like I said, I get it that fictional characters that are super fast don't move at their fastest speed all the time. Sometimes they got cruise speed, casual speed. You know, sometimes the Flash runs at Mach speed even though he's, you know, light speed. And there are occasions like this happen of him getting tagged by people that he shouldn't get tagged by. Like, that's just how it is. Sometimes they hold back, sometimes they don't. Not to mention that Deathstroke isn't a slowpoke himself, because you know street and enhanced tier characters in comic books are a lot faster than what you probably think. A lot of them having microsecond reaction time. Just in case you're actually too lazy to look at that video I told you to look at, if you're still underestimating Quicksilver's speed, Quicksilver was invisible to a Phoenix Force user. You're probably thinking, what is the Phoenix Force user speed feats anyway? Well, there's a time the Phoenix Force was split into 5 different people, right? You probably know it was Colossus, Cyclops, blah, 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 and Emma Frost. They all were quote-unquote close in power at that moment, right? Same with speed. Well, Phoenix Force users like Phoenix Force Cyclops, who are roughly around probably the same level as Emma Frost, because they got the Phoenix divided his power evenly into 5 different people, obviously. And he had no trouble in combating the combat speed of Gladiator, the same being on panel to have the power to repart black hole, and the same being that literally can react, dodge in a nanosecond or nanoseconds, or have a full battle in a nanosecond, just for those that are still skeptical. And Quicksilver was invisible to a Phoenix Force user's that power that was similar to this. Eyes. So just because a Marvel character doesn't have after images on drawing panels out of them like implying super speed because of after images via animation and comic style is the same thing as saying, well, in this particular instance of Raditz and Goku fighting, they seem to be moving super fast, right? In this instance of them fighting in Super Saiyan 2, the actual animation itself doesn't look that much different when it comes to the actual speed, but does that mean they're in the same speed because of animation? No, that's just stupid talk. I mean, how on earth would us viewers enjoy the fight if we literally can't see them fighting? I mean, they was faster than the eye can see back. You know, you see what I'm saying? It's just silly. I mean, let's be honest. If the DC publishers really wanted to emphasize him having a speed advantage, wouldn't they make his speed like pretty well known in the fight they had with? I know it's just a non-canon fight or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, you would think if the DC writers agreed that the speed was a huge advantage, wouldn't you think they would betray the speed difference in their actual fight? The Hulk didn't have no type of issues hitting Superman in their fight. Not trying to prove this as a point or anything, just something to have you think about that for a second. The Hulk can definitely use speed in combat. He's been times his big self has been shown to move as a blur. I'm not saying he's moving faster than light or anything when he's moving as a blur. It's just something to make you think, like, really, is he really that slow? I'm pretty sure Gladiator is faster than light, right? If he was faster than light, he couldn't have just taken the Hulk to space real fast before the Hulk could react. No, the Hulk was fast enough to react before he even got all the way out of space. And you know Gladiator was probably flying fast here, but since it's a comic panel, you can't actually see how fast he was going. So everybody just assumed, oh, he was just flying into the atmosphere like 15 miles per hour. So the Hulk had plenty of time. He wasn't using his crazy super speed to blitz him into space, but the Hulk had enough time to react before he can get... Gladiator could have flew him into space in a half a second or 1/10 of a second, but consider how fast Gladiator is. Hulk was still able to react to this. Reacting to Quicksilver ain't nothing. Well, I mean, do me a favor and watch my whole video breaking down Quicksilver if you would like to. Quicksilver is heavily implied to be at least, bare minimum, at least 1 times the speed of light. I said 1 times. You can't give him 1 time the speed of light. Really. He's at least 1 time the speed of light. Even if you don't want to give it that to him, I already showed you the scan with Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is a being that can travel interstellar distances, galaxy hopping, and perceive everything he's doing while he's doing this. His fighting speed should be comparable to his travel speed, and he can react and see things while he's moving like this. Like, come on, how do you perceive something moving like galaxy hopping speeds and not have combat speed? That doesn't make any sense. He tried to use his flight speed or movement speed in a fight with Hulk, and it didn't matter, and the Hulk was still able to tag him regardless of him trying to actually move out the way of his attack, as you can see here. The Hulk is so fast, there's times he even called Thor slow. Has times where he's dodged Thor's hammer while he was in Warrior's Madness right here, by the way. 10 times Thor, by the way. He was able to hit these people that was too fast for the human eye to see. The Hulk actually has his times where he can actually move as a blur, and the panel drew it as if he was going in multiple places at once, having like blurs around his body and his fists. You guys get the point. Yes, writing is consistent sometimes. Yes, the Hulk doesn't always use his speed like he should, but hey, when he wants to, he can do it. There's no denying that. I mean, you would think by now, after all these years in comics, if the Hulk's combat speed really wasn't up to par, how could he slug it out with all the literally fast people in Marvel? Gladiator, Hyperion, Century, Thor, Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer even stated on panel, like I just showed you, that he was actually trying to dodge. But let's move on.
The only foe that fast who Hulk's ever seemed to keep pace with in a one-on-one match was Sentry, and that was when he was at his most powerful stage, Worldbreaker Hulk.
That's why I'm going to have to stop you again. Death battle, death battle, death battle. Now, this is where it gets confusing in the community. Yes, this is so-called dubbed the Worldbreaker Hulk, right? The personality, Green Scar, is, yes, known as the Worldbreaker Hulk, but to make it less confusing, I call him World War Hulk, and I just say Worldbreaker is the form when his eyes start glowing green and his body starts glowing green. Sentry did not fight the Hulk when he was pissed off to the point where his eyes were glowing green and body was glowing green. That was after the fight had already ended. Sentry only fought this Hulk, who was still holding back at the time. There is a difference between this Hulk and this Hulk. I bet you can already tell the difference. You see the difference? He's glowing green, emitting gamma radiation, and his eyes are literally glowing green, emitting gamma. There's definitely a difference in power. You probably, it don't matter. Doomsday would have beat both. It don't matter if he would have faced him or not. Sentry would have beat both. No. The one right here can be argued to having 1,000 times multiplier. No, you're what? 1,000 times multiplier? Dude, you don't know why? Every Hulk fan knows this. He literally states out his mouth he was holding back in during that World War Hulk arc, aka the one where he fought the Sentry. None of the heroes fought Worldbreaker, eyes glowing green Worldbreaker, even though they're both the same name still, which I hate. So the Hulk and Worldbreaker during the Heart of a Monster, but this Worldbreaker Hulk right here was able to fight beings that are kind of on the powerhouse level with, you know, some would say, what, mini bosses for Thor. By Beast in his normal state has been given Thor a fight in the past, and in this state he was amped by 1,000-fold evidently, but this didn't actually matter. It is stated we were 1,000 times stronger. By Beast and the Wendigo at this point are 1,000 times stronger than they were before. Worldbreaker Hulk, see his eyes not even glowing, yeah, see, that letting you know they still kind of holding back in this occasion, letting you know how strong he really is. Long story short, this didn't really matter. He still kind of curb stomped him anyway with this amp. Keep note that has fought Thor in the past that gave him trouble. Not saying he's superior to Thor or nothing, just giving you an idea of how much stronger he is. Just to show you they're not feathers in comparison. Yeah, I'm just letting you know this. They was amped 1,000 times evidently, and this didn't matter. Just letting you know there's a drastic difference between the one that Sentry fought and the one in Heart of the Monster story arc, Worldbreaker. That's the true Worldbreaker.
Well, even assuming Hulk's strength was infinite, his healing factor was not. Don't get me wrong, it can only be overtaxed by hits from absurdly powerful beings such as Zeus or Sentry. They certainly compares.
Wait a minute. Whoa. There's a couple things. They just said. Did they say Doomsday compares to Zeus? Whoa. Before I get to that, they said the Hulk's healing factor can be overtaxed. Wrong again, Death Battle. Let me tell you why. Okay, here's the thing. I know the Hulk isn't unbeatable. You can actually beat a character with a healing factor, but that doesn't mean you can turn his healing factor off. No, I mean, you can knock out Wolverine, but that doesn't mean his healing factor is going to turn off. That's no. The Hulk can be defeated, but that doesn't mean his healing factor gets turned off. They're trying to say, for one, the only reason the Hulk turned back to normal in the World War Hulk arc is because the Sentry has a calming aura that finally got to him after all that time. At first, it did not work, but evidently it did. A lot of people say it didn't work at all. He just beat him until he turned into Bruce Banner. That never happens. Not if he's conscious. When he gets knocked out, he turns into Bruce Banner and Bruce Banner's knocked out. No, that's not how that is. He was completely fine. Oh, you don't believe me? Let me show you why. They literally said it in the World War Hulk arc that Sentry is the only being that is usually able to calm down the Hulk. It's because of this special aura, aka hacks against Hulk, not necessarily beating him until his healing factor just turns off. That doesn't make any sense. How does his healing factor just turn off? It's a reason why they said this in the beginning of the World War Hulk arc, and then it happens on the very last issue of the same issue that the same story said about the Sentry. It was not overtaxed. They're making up stuff. Not to mention that Sentry looked really effed up compared to Banner. Banner looked fine and turned right back into the Hulk like literally seconds later. But his healing factor was overtaxed, right? Okay, sure. It's literally been stated more than once that the Sentry calms the Hulk down. Now, I will admit the Zeus one is a better argument because they don't really explain how the Hulk was so injured and why his healing factor was slowed down so much. The thing about the Hulk, he did get beat up by Zeus really bad, and I can see how people can think it was overtaxed, but the Hulk has been injured way worse than what he got injured in this fight when it comes to like actual physical injuries. I mean, think about it. If the Hulk can literally rip out parasites from under his skin and be fine afterwards and not get his healing factor overtaxed, had literally 90% of his flesh removed, but yet he was able to heal from this. He wasn't even this injured against Zeus, but he couldn't heal for some reason, but yet he could heal from this extremely fast. Has even gotten his chest punctured. It was literally good at literally a second later. His healing factor works like a super cancer. When original flesh is destroyed, it's replaced by tumor-like cells. So I don't really see how just beating him down could just turn his healing factor off. Now, let's just say for the sake of argument, Zeus really did just beat him down to the point where his healing factor just turned off, which I find BS because that's never ever happened really ever in the history of Hulk's comics. But let's just say he did. Just because Zeus can do it doesn't necessarily mean Doomsday can do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fair to use that when it's a character like that high up, like a Skyfather level being high on the cosmic hierarchy. Like, I don't think that's a fair comparison to do that as that anyway, even though that's still not the case. I mean, if you can get your whole chest punctured and something can pierce all the way through your skin and you can still heal from it and your healing factor doesn't turn off, I don't see how blunt attacks that don't even puncture your body or pierce your skin just makes your healing factor turn off. I mean, I know it's Zeus, but sheesh, add up really that much. Plus, they didn't explain it. But if I had to make a theory, I don't want to use too much headcanon on a debunk video, but if I had to use a headcanon, Zeus is a reality warping being. If I had to use a theory, the best theory that makes sense that Zeus uses reality warping ability because Zeus was an a-hole. I can see him doing that, but you know, it's no proof, of course. But who's to say he didn't? You punched him with reality warping lightning. You know, he's Zeus, right? He can do that, right? It's not like he's a fair, genuine type of person in Marvel. He's like an a-hole in Marvel, so it's always on the table. Like I said, even if Zeus did shut his healing factor off with punches alone, that doesn't mean Doomsday can do that. Now,
The Hulk may look like a giant green monster, but he's still technically human, and his power directly correlates with his anger. A human being's anger stems from an increase in hormones and adrenaline in the body. However, the brain can only produce these chemicals at such a rate for a limited time, eventually giving up and turning apathetic. Therefore, Hulk's limitless power could never have existed without his healing factor. It's the key. It allowed his body to continue producing hormones and adrenaline far beyond the norm, theoretically an endless supply, thus increasing his superhuman power to an immeasurable degree. So, Doomsday overtaxing his healing factor meant the Hulk could no longer maintain his increasing rage and Hulk form.
wait a minute. I've already debunked the Sentry thing that's showing up on the screen right here. But look, this is what they said. Wearing the healing factor down because he's a human. That does not put into account forms like Mindless Hulk, who is literally just Hulk with no banner, and he still has a strength increase factor. He's basically saying Bruce Banner is kind of what helps the Hulk have limitless potential. No, the Hulk can just have limitless potential on his own. That's just not right. Using real life properties on somebody this strange and bizarre is just not a good way to scale, considering that the Hulk is kind of confirmed in the new Immortal Hulk series to be able to pretty much resurrect. So yeah, is that human-like too, I guess? It sucks that they came out with that death battle because the Hulk has actually got some extra lore since that death battle. There's this thing called the Green Door. It's like the realm of the one below all. The Hulk, if he dies, he actually can go through the green door and basically resurrect himself at will if he chooses to. Like, yeah, it's crazy like that, right? Proof of this is right here. This is the below place where the Hulk goes where he supposedly dies. This is new lore that Death Battle didn't know about. This is known as the Green Door, the realm of the One Below All. He's evidently the avatar of the One Below All. The Hulk is evidently mystical and not just scientific like we originally thought. That completely changes the equation. He's like a supernatural-ish type of being, not scientific. So I do not think that healing factor brain cells explanation that Death Battle came up with applies to Hulk now at this point, especially with the Green Door equation. In this occasion, he actually got his heart and stuff ripped out. Actually died evidently, right? But resurrected because of the Green Door. As you can see, yep, that's how it goes. They even show the past times he supposedly died in comics, and they show the Green Door. Yep, it's happened more than one occasion. The Green Door has happened more than once throughout the years. He can resurrect himself. So this is my question. So yeah, the Hulk can be killed in the Death Battle. So technically, if Doomsday kills him for like 2 seconds and the Hulk comes back, does that still count as a death? You know, I guess it still counts as a death, so I give it to him. If they say he wins because of that rule, their special rule they have in Death Battle, that's fine. But just know that he'll be back up in literally 2 seconds because he can resurrect. So that's kind of like immortality to me. You know what I'm saying? Multiple proof and showings of that right here, proving he can resurrect with the Green Door. That's just how it is and always has been technically throughout the years. It's been hinted at that he was immortal throughout those years as well. The older comics, this comic, the Immortal Hulk saga that's going on, just went in depth in it a lot more and with more lore. But like I said, I'm not trying to persuade you. You think what you want to believe. I just wanted to let some of that stuff out in the air, let people know the real deal, because I hate when people be quoting Screwattack. Overtax his healing factor. You can just turn his healing factor off by punching him hard enough, even though that's never ever really happened other than the one debatable time with Zeus, and that could be argued reality warping, you know what I mean?
With his healing power beaten down, he literally couldn't keep himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode.
Wait a minute, he couldn't get himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode, but literally 2 panels later, we literally see himself having conversations and literally turn right back into Hulk mode right after the fight is over. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see, it's just I'm just giving you the proof right there. They said he couldn't keep himself angry enough to stay in Hulk mode, but he just turned back instantly. The panel they were using in the air explanation. Well, guys, that's just about going to do it. Thanks again. And I thank you for these 3,000 subscribers yet again. And I think I want to make it to 100,000 subscribers so I can build a community, have a lot of people to chat with, have y'all chat amongst yourselves, and us just have a good and positive time debating, having conversations, theories, and all kinds of good positive stuff like that, along with other stuff I plan on doing with my channel. I would like to achieve this number so I can get this special YouTube play button award or trophy. I mean, I would like to get a couple of them, at least to go with 1 million subscribers. Maybe that'll be the long-term thing, but I want to at least make it to 100,000 subscribers. Y'all think I can do it? I hope I can do it, and hopefully I'll achieve this one day. Once again, thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers, but one day I'm gonna try to make it to 100,000 subscribers. I think I pretty much covered everything. Is there something I left out? Let me know in the comments below. But like I said, I'm not trying to persuade you on who you think will win. I just wanted to clear some things up, clear the air, and possibly let you see how the Hulk could possibly win. Only thing I would basically debate is that the battle would kind of go on forever because the Hulk would just keep coming back with the Green Door if you wanted to, and Doomsday kind of can't really die from blunt force, and that's really the Hulk's main advantage, other than like gamma burst or something, or dying from massive amounts of gamma energy blast or something, because you know when you go Worldbreaker, he can kind of do some energy projection type stuff. But that's none of my business. I mean, if they want to say that, that's fine. If you still think Doomsday wins, that's fine. After all of this I just showed you, go ahead and be hard-headed. That's cool. That's fine. Or if you got, you know, your reasonings and not being hard-headed, that's fine too. We don't have to agree to and stuff like that. That's fine. But I just wanted to clear the air. You're not overtaxing this healing factor. The Hulk is faster than you think, and the Hulk can consistently fight light speed opponents like Silver Surfer, Gladiator, Hyperion, beings that are massively faster than light. I'm not talking about no 5 times faster than light. I'm talking about trillions, quadrillions of times faster than light, like Silver Surfer, literally galaxy hopping. Can literally use that speed and movement and try to dodge and evade your attacks, but yet the Hulk still can tag them. That's all I wanted to say. But make sure you guys post your comments down below. Let me know what you all think. Make sure you check out playlists for stuff similar to this. I don't usually do videos like this. I do a lot of videos in the How Strong series that y'all love it. But make sure you guys post your comments down below. Thank you guys for the 3,000 subscribers. I hope you guys like this little treat and things like that. If you didn't, that's fine. If you did, that's cool. Even to you, more power to you. And you guys stay frosted, keep me motivated. Y'all actually keep me motivated, by the way. And make sure you check out the affiliate links below and things like that. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.